at least in my world too, where work on music stuff, the music comes first, and then you kind of add vocals in there. That it is sometimes great to be like, man, if you kind of give the opportunity to, and especially if they hit you where you just at least hear gibberish or something, where it's like if the lyrics can at least have some sort of pattern where you can, figure out the gibberish later, there's cues that could happen vocally too. It could really help out the situation. And there's a lot of great, vocal cues in songs and stuff. So I don't know, I mean, it sounds like in a way you're kind of describing stuff like that though too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the vocal kind of takes its own musical instrument when you're doing the patterns. Like, for example, I mean, I do a lot of the vocal patterns. and it's also just to break it up. John has one way of looking at the riffs and the beat, and I have another, Yeah. And, so that helps. We're realizing now, in the last record and then this new one that we're demoing and working on now, like, we want to pay a little bit more attention to the vocals and just be a little bit more dominant to where maybe it wasn't before, because even like on the Daniel records, like we didn't even know, like a lot of the songs that we didn't already demo that had vocal patterns, we never heard them. Daniel just got in the studio and just did it. He got a bottle of fucking tequila and he just went in there and blurted out a bunch of words. We had no idea how patterns. I don't think he did either. He just got there and felt it out, which was great, and that's what makes the vocals on that album. It's just
it's different
for sure. For the moment, he may have had some stuff in his head, but he never let us know. we didn't know how this shit was going to turn out.
Now, he did those in, like, you were there when he did it. He didn't dial in Mexico and then mail you.
He was living. No, I even tried. I spent money on a lawyer, an immigration lawyer. We tried to get him citizenship. We wanted him to stay in the band. We did all we could, and he was living illegally in Cleveland as John's roommate for those couple years.
Okay.
From the 95, I guess mid 95, I think is when he came over on a work visa and he never went back.
Gotcha.
So, and then, and he's still here. He still never went back. I'm not going to say if he's here illegally or what, but he's been in Little Mexico in Chicago for 20 some years now,
Okay.
Me and John are planning on doing, I did a little bit of Diabolical sessions when we were supposed to do the split screen thing, and I had just taken Q&A questions from that era, but we're going to do one together as well.
Oh, cool.
I covered on a lot of things. That was a crazy time. There was a lot going on. That was a busy time. There's some juicy ones. Me and John have been doing a book for years now. We just get together and we talk like this to a writer, and he's been writing it all out. I don't know when we'll finish that, but it'll be a juicy book someday.
Memoirs of Incantation, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow, there would definitely be a lot to be said, especially in those early years. What do you like? You watch like DVD bonuses, hear stories like this. I mean, some of this stuff it's getting up there where it's like, dude, I can't remember yesterday. Sometimes it's man, how do you remember some of this shit? Like, so you haven't being the guy though that has that story to tell through these experiences. Do you find yourself going back to some of this stuff, going like, fuck, man, I hope my story's right. I think this is it.
Well, there's some stuff. I mean, I just hope I told the story truthfully the first time I said it, say 10 years ago. Because that's like, if I'm telling the same story, even if it's years apart, as long as, you know what I mean? I started reminiscing. But John's pretty good. He'll remind me, and we'll argue about dates or no, it didn't happen like that. Like, there's a couple things when we get together, and he's like, because there was one show I got really fucked up in Rimouski, Canada, and I don't know, I took some PCP or something. It wasn't supposed to be, but I got on this really bad trip, and I couldn't. There was no way I was gonna be able to play, so I was trying to pay drummers off. I'm like, come on, just get up there and play the set for me. And what's his name from the Canadian Blood of Christ? Shit, I can't believe I can't think of his name. But John said I only tried to offer him like $20. I'm like, no way, I'll offer like $100, and so we'll argue about shit like that.
Okay,
but
that's funny.
But I don't know. I remember a lot of stuff. I mean, I can't remember. what I had for breakfast. But, you start, like, especially like if you guys, I start reminiscing, it starts coming back. What I mean? It takes me to have to think about it, but there's that's 30 years worth. I mean, that's
right.
Almost 30 for me. I mean, the band's over 30 now.
Nearly 30 years, like you said, of knowing all the stuff that to like now, where I'm pretty sure you guys did play where there, the state of metal really though is in where it's like there's 70,000 tons of freaking crews around and all these really bigger, like the acceptance and stuff that who would have ever even thought about during those times would have ever even came to be, that like now you've actually had those opportunities and stuff. Like, are you of the mind where like, this is fucking awesome, I'm glad it's to this, or are you more of an elitist that's like, no, death metal needs to stay in mom's basement?
I'm glad it's growing for sure. I mean, dude, we're still struggling, but we struggled way hard for a majority of the years. People didn't care for our style of death metal and incantation, you know what I mean? Like the old fuckers of death metal, and had been paid respect for that. And I'm glad we have the opportunity to play 70,000 tons. I mean, I love it because I've been on it twice now. Hell yeah, keep inviting us, And so it's cool. And now the guys are older, especially John's older. He doesn't have a day job, so he kind of would like to live off of metal, just tour, and he doesn't have big mortgage or nothing like that, so he can play and survive, and that's all he wants to do. He just wants to play, you know what I mean? Right. It's hard, I can't. I have, like you, wife and kids and family, and but I'm glad all the bands that are still doing it are getting a little bit more respect and being able to play the bigger stages. And being accepted as a larger band, the bands, Incantations and Immolations are now but being treated as like Cannibal Corpse and Morbid Angel. The other bands that were around at the same time, not that they're commercial bands, but they're a little more commercial than Incantation. You know what I mean? Right. So, but being now treated on that same level, it's weird because there's a lot of bands in the middle that just jumped the top of Incantation, you know what I mean? And they got huge. Say Dying Fetus, they weren't around. Members were, but the band itself, not so much. And they got huge, you know what I mean? And then Incantation's open for them, and it's cool. That's the way it goes. But now I'm seeing it's more leveling out,
Right.
Just getting respect. I think that's it. I mean, damn. I mean, do all those tours, all those miles for all those years. And to still put out records and having the labels that are putting out the records and selling merch and just having everybody, recognizing that, the band is valid still, that's respect. And that's all McAtee wants, I mean? He just wants to play metal. We just want to keep writing records. That's all I want to do. My part is just to keep, playing, do what live I can, but just help putting out fucking records, know?